What's up, everybody? It's Joe here with Joseph Blake Photography, and in today's video, we've got Prime Day coming up in the next 2 days, and I wanted to just really quickly go through some of the best deals that I was able to find for content creation, for video, photography, that sort of stuff, so that you don't have to dig through everything. I found some of the best stuff. I'm gonna make some recommendations. I'm gonna tell you why these things are better for you than the cheaper stuff that you can find for even less. Okay, so I'm going to break this video down into a couple of components. I'll put chapter markers down on the bottom. Please feel free to jump around to the things that you think you need to add. But if you're not sure, go ahead and watch it all and take a look. Also, anything that you see that you like, I have links down below. Those are affiliate links, so I do get just a little bit of commission on those if you buy something while you're shopping. And that just goes to support the channel so I can keep making free content on YouTube for you. But most importantly, I really want to go through some of these things and tell you why some of them are good and some of them are not, and why in some cases you might want to spend just a little bit more. So the 4 areas that I wanted to focus on are cameras, studio equipment, gear bags, filters, and storage. Not bags, like, chips and stuff. All right, first things first, in the camera category, we're going to be talking about the Sony a7 III. And you're going to say, but Joe, that camera's really old. Why would I want to get that? Because it is a 24 megapixel BSI sensor. It's a Sony full frame camera. You couldn't go wrong with a Sony full frame camera. And right now it's $1,300. And if you've never bought anything from Sony, or this is your first time into buying a camera like this, if you throw on the lens, the kit lens, which is the 3.5 to 5.6, but still 28 to 70 millimeters, it's $1,500. That's a great deal. Could you spend more and get more? Absolutely. Could you get this camera used, maybe for a better price? Probably. But this is from Amazon, not from some rando on OfferUp. So this is a great start. I'm not going to go into the details of this specific camera. I'm just going to say that if you're looking to jump into cameras, you want full frame, and you want a Sony, this should definitely be on your list, especially now, considering the fact that it is 25% off with the lens. All right, moving to the next camera option. These are in no particular order, by the way. Next, if you're looking for something maybe a little bit smaller or maybe a little bit more compact, the Sony ZF or ZV-1F. This is their vlogging camera. It is $398. It's $100 off. This is a great little camera for vlogging. You could also put it on a tripod, start using it for talking head videos. Anything that you're doing, you would be able to do great with this camera with video to get started. A lot of people are using this camera. Also, because of the way that Sony does their cameras, you can plug this thing in and use it as a live streaming camera, use it as a webcam. So this is a phenomenal camera for that. It's got a bokeh button for when you want a little bit of depth of field. It's got the fully tilt out screen, which is huge for vloggers, and there's a lot of accessories for this camera. There are other Sony cameras on the store that you might want to look at, but those are the 2 that I picked out of what was available that I thought would be the best deals depending on what you're looking for, what your price point is, and what you are looking to build. Next, for folks who aren't looking for a stationary camera necessarily, not looking to do as much vlogging, although you could vlog on this, the GoPro 11. Now, the thing about GoPro is that they come out with a new camera almost every year. I'm sure that there's a 13 that's going to get leaked here in the next, week, but the GoPro 11 is a phenomenal camera. It has that front-facing LCD. It also has amazing stabilization. And right now, for $250, which is 34% off, you can get the Hero 11 Black, that's the high-level camera, with the head strap, the quick clip, and the Enduro battery. So if you are someone who does adventuring, or, I don't know, maybe you're doing something like, maybe you're a mechanic, or something where you want to be able to record what you're doing either with your hands or as you're moving with your body, and you want to be able to put a head strap on, or if you want to separately purchase the chest strap or a mount for this, it has the clip mount. There are a lot of things that you can do with the GoPro. I'm still using a GoPro 8 Black. I love that camera. I think it's phenomenal. I think the GoPros have a lot of longevity, and the 11 is a great camera. And it's probably discounted because there's going to be another one in a week or two. But this is a phenomenal camera, top of the line. Just get this if you're doing anything adventure. But if you're in the market for a GoPro and you want the absolute top of the line, the most recent, the 12, right? 13 will be coming out, I'm sure, like I said, in about 20 minutes. But if you're looking for the 12, here it is, 25% off. This is a great deal. So if you just want the top of the line, best there is. No accessories with this one, but obviously it is the best one that they make right now, the 12 Black, $299. The DJI Air 3 in the Fly More combo is 20% off. Now, could you get this, again, used probably for less? Folks who are looking to sell right now, especially considering the fact that we're going to get an Air 4 or 3S here really soon. Video about that somewhere up here. Sure. But you can get it from Amazon. It's reputable. It's going to come in the right box with the right stuff. This is a brand new item. 20% off with the RC2 controller and the extra batteries and the charger. This is a great deal at $1239. All right, now moving on to studio equipment. That was cameras. Now we're talking about studio equipment. One of the things that I like to tell people a lot is that when you're filming, even if you don't have the best camera in the world, there's two things that you can do that will significantly improve the way that your shots look. As long as you've got a camera that can focus on your face, or that you can set a kind of a set focus or a fixed focus, as long as you're in focus, that's step number one, obviously. But step number two is having good lighting. Now, you don't have to break the bank to do that. Sometimes you can just throw a sheet over a window and get great light, amazing light, honestly. But depending on where you live, maybe you don't have a window that has a lot of visible or natural light coming in, or maybe you're in an area where that natural light is really variable. The color changes all the time because of clouds, or maybe you just don't always have consistent light. Maybe you're shooting at night because you just don't have the ability to use the full space during the day. So if you have a slightly more dedicated space where you can put a light up, you need a modifier for that light. These new lights, these LED lights, are mega bright. But that's definitely the direction that you want to go if you're going to invest in lighting. What I would say is if you're at the sheet over a window level, there's a couple lights in this category that I'm going to talk about, but one direction that you probably want to go is something like a dedicated light source, right? This is a Godox SL60W, right? I like Godox, I like Neewer because they're cheap, but they're good. Cheap, not in terms of quality, like cheap in terms of price. They're good value, right? You get a good amount for your money. Do they have all the bells and whistles? No. Are they production studio level? Probably not. But for $100 and something bucks, you can get a light like this, probably even for less. Now, I'm running a smaller version of something like this right now in my studio, and I have a box on it with a modifier. Like this one. This is the Neewer. This is the 45 centimeter version, right? That's 17 inches, so it's about this big. So it's not very big. So if you have a small space, this could work really well. And it'll mount on a tripod. You can mount it on a lot of different things. But it comes with the diffuser. It comes with a honeycomb grid. It comes with a bag so you can put it away. And it is compatible. The mount on the back is compatible with almost every light. These lights have a standard kind of lock on them that allows you to do that. This is a huge upgrade if you do not have lighting in your current setup, or you're using a ring light. The ring lights are dead, guys. They look horrible. They look terrible. If that's what you're doing, please stop. Find a new way. The ring light look, it's a look. So this is 20% off. It's 55 bucks. And there are other versions, larger versions, and versions that have stands and all that sort of stuff in them. Here's a larger version for not much more money. This one's only 62 bucks. It's normally 80. I have this exact Octabox. It's an octagonal softbox, so we call it an Octabox. And the version that I have has the diffuser, the 2 diffuser levels, and the honeycomb grid. This is a phenomenal diffuser and modifier for lights. It's just really big. So if you are not in a space that is large, because it is not only, it's 3 feet, right? But it's also 3 feet deep. So it sticks out really far. So if you don't have the space for it, don't get it. get the smaller version. But this is one, I have this exact one. The only reason I'm not using it is because I wanted more space in my room. I wanted to be able to push this desk back closer to the wall. And so right now I have a 24-inch square Godox modifier. If you say, Joe, I want multiple lights, or I want to be able to put on like a catch light, or I want to be able to put a microphone or a camera or whatever, you're probably going to need something that's going to be able to handle the weight and be stable. And a tripod isn't normally designed for that much stuff or being adaptable. And so what you might want to look at is getting a C-stand. So these C-stands, I have one. I literally have one. This is my C-stand. It's right here. C-stand. This is a C-stand. They call it a C-stand because when you fold up this part, I'm not going to fold it. When you fold it up, it looks like a C. But those things are great. And you can put lots of stuff on them. Put lights on them, put cameras on them. I have a Manfrotto adapter on mine that I have going up and down with I got a whole setup here, and it all is super stable, and it takes up very little room, and I can slide everything where I want because the footprint isn't huge like a tripod. It's got that C-stand leg on it, and you can put weights on it and stuff. It's really nice. One thing that makes things like that really easy, especially with things like microphones or cameras or other adapters or devices that you're going to have on if you're using little screens, are these little friction arms. They are great. This one in particular is not designed for a ton of weight. Manfrotto makes one that I'm using that is. This one is designed for things that are a little bit lighter. A small monitor, a microphone, again, max load 4.5 pounds. I wouldn't put a camera on this. You can also use it to adapt to your camera, not just your gear. Honestly, you can do tons of things with these. It's a 1/4-inch screw mount, so you can attach it to anything. These are like the glue in your setup. You should always have just a couple of these lying around. I've got a box with 5 or 6 of them in there. And if I just need to toss stuff together, I can really quickly. If I'm trying to solve a problem, put a light in a specific spot. If I'm like, oh, I want to mount a light up there, but I don't, boom. Grab one of these things, grab a little friction arm, and you're all set. Okay, but you say, okay, Joe, I am on the absolute lowest end of the budget scale. I would love to do sheet over a window, but I don't have a window, I don't have a sheet. What do I do? These flat panels are a good alternative. They're not great, they're good. They will give you consistent, even light. They are normally adjustable. These versions, they have a little knob. So something like this would give you the ability to evenly light yourself, although I would, again, strongly recommend keeping it pretty low, adjusting your settings to not over, you can get the same kind of light as what you get out of a ring light with something like this, but it's a little bit better, and you can do kind of multiples. Really, the other thing that these are really good for is if you want some accent lighting. If you want to throw a light on the back of your subject or on the side of your subject to give you some definition behind, or to separate them from the background, or add a little bit of drama, or add a little bit of atmosphere, you can with these lights. And they throw in the little color filter gels, and they throw in a tripod. The only reason that I would recommend something like this is because if you're absolutely just starting out, has my collar been this way the whole time? You guys are supposed to tell me stuff like this. If this is all you can afford, this is okay. But I just want to tell you, if you can find a window and put a sheet on it, this might not be the best thing. Do the window with the sheet until you can afford $100 light and a $50 modifier. Okay, moving out of the studio category, moving into bags. I found 2 bags that I thought were pretty cool, and they're cheap. Again, if you're just starting out with stuff and you want to be able to carry your gear, you want to be able to put your lenses, you want to be able to find a place to put your tripod, things that you're carrying with you, if that's how you're doing it, and keeping your stuff protected in a bag is really important. So these are 2 options that are inexpensive. Although one other option in this category would be to look at Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and eBay, potentially to find bags that are a little bit less expensive than retail price, but might be Peak Design or Lower Pro or something like that, where they are photo specific, a little bit higher quality, they're going to last you a little bit longer, and maybe they've just been a little bit loved. So this pack has dividers specifically for lenses, cameras, and other gear. You could probably manipulate this to fit the drone or your action cameras in here. It's got space on the side and a strap for a tripod, which is nice. That's how you know that this thing is more geared towards photo work. 18 bucks. Probably not the best, but again, if you're on a super budget, this is not a bad deal. And the next is an Altura bag. If you've seen Altura before, they make a lot of entry-level stuff like this. They make filters, they make bags, and I think I have a couple of theirs laying around here somewhere. A lot of times you'll see this stuff in packages for free with a camera or a drone or something like that. So a lot of times these things get thrown in. They are not super high quality. I just want to tell you that right now. This is not the highest quality bag that you can buy, but the thing that I like about it is that it has this front pouch that opens all the way up, but you still have the top that lets you put a lot of stuff in it. I have a similar bag to this that I really do. I don't use it a lot, but there are specific times where I would need it. If you are dealing with your camera, a couple lenses, and you need to be able to throw some other things in the bag, for 25 bucks, this is not a bad deal. But right now, it's 50% off. So something to think about when you're looking at those Prime Day deals. Would not pay more than $25 for this bag. Next, let's talk about filters. Filters are super, super important, especially if you're doing video. And I want to show you something real quick. This is my GoPro. I mentioned this earlier. This is my Hero 8 Black. This is from f-stop Labs, and it comes with this little adapter here. The reason that I do this is because out of the box, the GoPro, any camera, is going to, especially if you have it in like auto mode, is gonna set your f-stop or your shutter speed to whatever makes most sense for the light that's outside. So you always want to be shooting at the lowest ISO. You're going to have potentially a f-stop or an aperture that is appropriate for what you're shooting or what you're trying to do or the look that you're trying to achieve. Obviously, this is a fixed aperture, fixed focus device, but the shutter speed, if it's super fast, everything's going to feel super choppy. And on an action camera or on a drone, you want some motion blur, right? You want that cinematic motion blur. And the way that you do that is by limiting the amount of light that comes into the camera, and you do that with a filter, okay? So filters are super awesome. I think I have a video somewhere on the channel about the 180 rule and that sort of thing. If not, I'll make one. Okay. I also have filters here for my Mavic drone. Same thing. These are neutral density ND filters to limit the amount of light that comes into my camera so that I can shoot at the aperture and shutter speed that I want, not what's appropriate for the scene. I can adjust it. Okay. So speaking of filters, when we get to bigger cameras, when we get to full frame lenses, so this is my 14 to 35 f4 on my Canon EOS R, and it comes with a 77 millimeter mount, which means that this here is 77 millimeters. Okay, we're talking about filters. This is a filter that I absolutely love, and I'm gonna go into this one in the list here in a second. This is a K&F ND filter. It goes from, I think this one is ND2 to ND400, so it gets super dark. Okay, but there's a problem. It's an 82 millimeter filter thread. That's not going to fit on this lens, right? Because this lens is a 77 millimeter, right? I can screw and screw and screw all I want. So what I did was I have a step down converter on here that takes this from 82 to 77. And you say, well, Joe, why does that matter? Like, why don't I just buy for the lenses that I have? And that would make perfect sense, except that this one's 77 and I have another lens that's 82. Some lenses are 88. So what did I do? I bought a filter that was the size of the largest lens that I had, or the largest lens that I knew that I would at some point have. And I got a step down converter for it. And I can get as many step down converters as I want because it doesn't matter because they're cheap. And so that's what I've got here. This is a 52 to 70 millimeter, meaning that if I had a much smaller lens that took a 52 millimeter filter thread, but I had a 77 millimeter filter thread filter, I could still put it on. So for me, I would be looking for 88s or 82s rather. So I would say, okay, let's go to, for example, I've got a 49 millimeter 50 mil lens. So I want to go 49 to 82. Boom, 49 to 82. Okay. Now this one's not on sale, but there's a 9% coupon, it looks like. So take a look through these, right? In my case, like I said, I'm running the 77 to 82. That's the most common one that I've got. There's a 9% coupon on this one. This one's not part of Prime. The other one was. I'll link that one down below. That was a 52 to 77. So again, look at your lenses, look at what filter thread sizes you have, and just get a converter. Don't buy multiple filter thread filters unless you know for sure that there are issues that you have with filter sizes, or if you plan on having multiple filters on multiple cameras at one time. So now let's actually talk about filters. So this is a KNF concept. This is an 82 millimeter. Again, I'm running the 82 millimeter. This is the Nano X variable ND on my cameras now. I use this all the time. This is what you need if you want to be shooting outside in bright sunlight for video, but you want to keep your footage cinematic. You need this. You need to have this. If you don't have this, you're not doing it. You're not doing it right. So mine is the ND2 to ND400. This is the ND3 to ND1000. So a little bit less light on the full open and a little bit less light on the fully closed. So this is a super cool option. And obviously there are different versions of this that you can click around and check. Still on neutral density filters, I mentioned that I have neutral density filters for my Mavic. If you're running a Mavic 3 Classic with the single lens, this is a pack of 4 ND filters, 8, 16, 32, and 64. But they're not just ND filters, they're also polarized, which is super good when you're flying a drone because you're gonna avoid a lot of that reflected light and you'll be able to get a much cleaner view of the areas that you're trying to get footage of, especially if you're doing what I'm doing and trying to get amazing landscape video. These are 50% off. That is a really good deal. So again, ND filters, drones need them too, not just regular cameras. Drones, action cameras, everywhere you should have an ND filter whenever you can. And if you can make it a combo polarizer, do that. But if you did want to do a polarizer on its own, here is the KNF version of their polarizer, also in 82 millimeters. It's got their Nano X series coatings on it. I have not used this particular filter, but I know that the KNF stuff is good. I have checked out a couple of their products, including the filters, just not this one, and their tripod, which was pretty good. I've got a video about that up here. So again, they're a pretty good company. They offer good products at a decent price. All right, moving into the storage category, I do have an external USB-C adapter. This is from Basis. Okay, I don't normally like external adapters. I have some Anker docks, Thunderbolt docks that I really do, but it's tough to put Anker docks in your laptop bag because they normally require a big power brick, right? But this one does not. And yes, I do own this actual item. I wouldn't really show it to you unless it was something that I had tried in this category. And I say that because I've had a handful of these. I had one that when you plugged it in, it made a high-pitched screaming noise and then it died. But this one has been rock solid for me. I think I've had it for over a year. It is heavy, not like too heavy, but it's heavyweight. It feels firm and sturdy. It's got a little light on it when it's turned on. And it's got a little spot for you to put the connector. It's really cool. So I really like this thing. It's really good. It's got 2 HDMIs. It's got a power delivery USB-C. It's got SD and mini SD, 3 USB 3s, or 2 USB 3s and a USB 2. And it has gigabit Ethernet here on the back, and it's all running through USB-C. One thing to note, it does say it is 100 watt power delivery. It will ingest 100 watts, but it will only power up to 85 watts because it takes 15 watts to power all the stuff in here, and then the other 85 watts goes to your laptop. It also advertises it as doing 2 HDMIs at 120 hertz 4K. You do have to have a laptop that supports that. Remember, this is not actually generating the image signal that's going to your monitor. Your computer still is, and so your computer has to support that. So if you have a previous gen MacBook Air, it will not push 2 video signals, it will only push 1. The newer MacBook Air will with the lid closed. If you have a MacBook Pro, it will support the 4K at 120, but if you have the first gen MacBook Pro M1, it will only do 60 hertz because it is only HDMI 2.0A or 2.0B. It doesn't do 120 hertz. That is a software limitation that Apple puts on those. So just FYI. And it doesn't say specifically on here, but I do not believe that this is UHS-2. I'm pretty sure this is UHS-1, so it's going to be a little slower than a high performance SD card reader. Okay, next in storage, I want to talk about these NVMe drives because this is actually a really good price. Samsung makes amazing NVMe drives. I don't have this particular model. I have the 980, not the 990 Pro, and I think I have it in a 2 terabyte, not a 4 terabyte. So this is a huge drive. For $299, that's 4 terabytes in a NVMe package, which is great. Now, if you are a Windows PC user with a desktop tower, on your motherboard, you're likely going to have a slot for this. If you're not, if you're a more modern laptop user or especially a Mac user, this thing isn't going to work for you. And you might ask, Joe, then why would you even talk to me about it? And the reason is that one of the best things that you can do is get these types of drives, especially when they're inexpensive, when you can get them on sale, and throw them into an external enclosure that is Thunderbolt 3 or 4 or USB 4 and use it as external storage. So right now I have a 2 terabyte drive in here, and you know what? I get, I think, 2,000 megabits per second. I don't know. I do the Blackmagic test and the numbers go up a lot, and it's everything that I need. These are phenomenal, and you can get a couple of them. They're inexpensive. It's just a little board, and then it connects to USB. So that's why I show you the NVMe storage. So there's this one. This is from Samsung. Again, it'll do up to 7,400 megabits per second. And then there's this one from Crucial, another great price. Again, both of them on sale for Prime Day. Okay, next up in storage, and this is the last bit that we're going to go over here, is the Lexar, and I really like Lexar 256 gig XC memory cards. So what does all that mean? Number one, these are UHS-2 cards. That means that they're going to be fast both in the camera and especially when you take them out of the camera and you are trying to pull your data off. The number that you want to look at here is V60 and the transmission rate, which in this case is 250 megabits per second. Now, you might want to say, okay, what does that even mean? Look up what the bit rate is. Look up what the file transfer rate or the speed requirements are for your camera. I have been bit by this in the past where I've set my camera to record and I've walked away, and then I come back thinking that I've recorded this shot of me riding my mountain bike down a hill or something, and then come to find out that it stopped recording because there was a speed issue. And different cameras require different speeds, so make sure what the requirements are of your camera. I'll give you an example. These cards right here, this is what I use. My camera, where's my thing? Okay, I have this is the 128 gig. I have this exact card, okay? I've had this for quite some time. It runs phenomenally well. This is again, UHS-2 V60. When I throw this card into my EOS R or into most other cameras, honestly, it works great. If I put it in my R6 Mark II that I'm shooting on right now, I've got about a 50-50 chance that it's going to give me an error. Why? Because the card isn't fast enough. This camera requires V90. So you might say, okay, what about that? Again, just check what your camera needs. This is a great deal for two 256 gig storage options. Or you can go down to 128 gig if you're like me and you're like, I don't want that much on one card. And you go down $70 for a 2-pack of these, and they are 20% off. That's a great deal. If your camera will do V60 250 megabyte, this is a great deal for you. If you need faster, like me, you might want to step up to the Silver series. So here's a 256 gig card from the Silver series. So if you have a camera like mine that needs a little bit more, you can go up to the Silver Pro. They have a Silver level as well. Watch out for those. Those are V30s. This is also a V60, but it's a little bit faster. It's got 200 megabit with 120 write speed. So again, depending on the camera that you're using, check to see what the write and read speed requirements are. But If these work for you, this is a phenomenal deal. These are super fast. Okay, so that probably went a little long. I apologize. That's it. I scoured Amazon to find what I thought were the best deals for Prime Day and a little beyond for folks who are looking for cameras, folks who are looking to upgrade their studio, if you're looking for bags or storage, or if you're not using filters yet on your action cameras, your drones, your cameras, you need to be using that stuff. These are some of the things that I think that you can purchase to just get yourself up to that next level. And right now, for the next 24 to 48 hours, 50, depending on when you watch this video, this stuff's on sale. It's cheaper. Please use the links down below. Those are affiliate links. I do get just a little bit of a bonus on those. If you purchase through that link, just helps keep the channel afloat, helps me to do this stuff for free for you. And while that is definitely a reason to do a video like this, the main reason I wanted to do it is because honestly, I was shopping to see what the deals were. And I was like, you know what? There's some good deals out here. I should probably make a video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, I do reviews, tech news, outdoor adventures, all sorts of things as relates to photography, videography, technology, content creation, you name it. I like to do videos about it. So if that's the kind of thing that you're into, go ahead and hit subscribe. Go ahead and hit the like button if this is the thing that you'd like to see on YouTube. Helps the algorithm tell me that I'm doing the right thing. And go ahead and hit the bell so that you get notified when I post new videos. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.